Chelsea Football Club is in a crisis. We use the crisis word all the time, but if this isn't a crisis, then I don't know what is, because this is beyond ridiculous. Let me give you the running order of this video, and I guarantee you're going to stay to the very end. Graham Potter's got 2 games to save his job. It's been made clear and apparent. We went from we're backing him to the very end to he's got 2 games to save his job. We've got senior players asking to leave the club allegedly behind closed doors and being forced out, and all of a sudden all we care about is an individual's age, whether their actual ability and their way to impact the first team. We've got Thomas Tuchel potentially coming back based on some information that's coming out, or is he? And finally, 3 replacements that are being lined up, spoken about, and actively linked with the Chelsea job non-stop. I've got their statistics, I've got their accomplishments, and one of them is going to make you sick. And if he doesn't make you sick, then you've not learned from the Graham Potter experiment. Let's get into this video. I took a little break, but I'm back, baby. Welcome to the Kavkas View, brother. Like Bryson Tiller says, I'm back and I'm better, and I'm like an old school marinara. So all I need from you lot to hit that like button. We're aiming for 1,000 likes on this video. Number 2, in the comment section below, let me know Potter in or Potter out, because I want to understand the engagement within the people watching these videos. How are you feeling? I'm Potter out. I've been Potter out for a while. I think it's time to get him out of the club. And finally, in the pinned comment, make sure you go and follow me on Instagram. Oh, and subscribe. You made it this far. You're clearly enjoying the content. But you're here for the news. I'm not going to bore. Matt Law's come out and basically given the dagger. He's given the dagger that most managers hate. He said Graham Potter's got 2 games to save his job. Guys, the minute you start putting X number of games on the job, the manager's gone. Because what happens if he wins the next 2 games and then goes on to lose the next 3 after that? Well, you're going to set him another target, and then another target, and another target. It's basically a relationship where your partner tells you they don't want to be with you anymore, and you have 3 dates to save it. It doesn't work. At that moment in time, it's over. Potter's coming out with lame-ass excuses like, oh yeah, Mikel got time if you watch your All or Nothing documentary. Let me just give you some statistics that will absolutely dismantle that whole argument. Number 1, in 26 games, and Arteta's 28 games, Potter was averaging under 1.27 points. Arteta was on 1.9 points. That's very good. Arteta was averaging 51% wins in his 28 games. Potter's averaging 35. Potter's averaging more defeats than he's averaging wins. Like as a percentage basis, the statistics don't back him up. He sounds like an idiot, and I hate saying that because he's a very intelligent man. He's coming across as someone that's so desperate to fight his corner, so desperate to make a point, that he is absolutely drowning himself with more and more allegations for him to lose his job. The man has to go. He's got 2 days to save his job. Matt Law has openly said it. He literally is saying the club is starting to sway. There is one member of the board that wants him out, and there's another one back. What do we know? It's Egbali and Bowley. You make your own mind up which one's one in what, because we haven't got confirmation of that. But that's what we know. Additionally, Matt Law has openly said there are senior players that are fuming with this dressing room. They are unhappy with the size of the squad. They don't understand what's going on. They're absolutely going mad because people are getting left out of squads. There are young players saying they got sold projects that they're not being involved in. This is a hot mess. And to make matters worse, Thiago Silva now is out for 6 weeks. He's got a knee injury, and he's not going to be playing against Dortmund when we really need him. So he's going to be out. We're going to have to depend on Koulibaly, Badiashile, who's not in the UEFA Champions League squad, and Wesley Fofana. What's worrying me now is that rumours are coming out from the Telegraph that Raheem Sterling is unhappy, apparently. These rumours have been robusted, and they've been actively said that they're not true. But when there's smoke, guys, there's somewhere a fire. Raheem Sterling is not happy under Graham Potter. You know that, I know that, we've seen that. He's played wing back, he's been on the bench, he's not been counted upon, and this is frustrating because Raheem Sterling's one of the players in the squad that is a proven entity. He's 27 years old, he knows how to score goals in this league, he knows how to score goals at multiple clubs, and he's a player that can win you matches by being a good team player, and he's not being depended on. Number 2, Mateo Kovacic. Rumors are coming out. He's got a year left on his deal in the summer. They're not even negotiating to renew him. Why are you not negotiating to renew a Champions League winner multiple times, and more importantly, an individual that is going into the prime and peak of his power? The player is not a bad player. The player is actually very good. Why? Because he's 29 years old and doesn't fit your model anymore. Let me explain to you guys something. Manchester City is sniffing around him, and they will take him, and we will regret it when he goes and joins them, and when Raheem goes and joins Arsenal, because they're apparently interested in him. This is silly. Guys, Manchester United are having success right now, and everyone's talking about Marcus Rashford, but the people they're not talking about are Rafael Varane, experienced entity; David De Gea, who's playing very well and keeping them in games, experienced entity; Casemiro, experienced entity. Varane and Casemiro are proven winners. They have got Real Madrid DNA. They know how to win Champions Leagues, they know how to win league titles, they know how to win Copa del Rey, and they know how to win major trophies with their clubs and countries. Casemiro might have not won anything with his country at a senior level. He's done it at youth level. He's done it at Porto. He's done it at Real Madrid multiple times. Varane, World Cup winner, Euros winner. What else do you want? What else do you want? This man is serious, and they are setting a standard for the kids around them. Sancho, Rashford, Garnacho, they all know what they need to be doing because there are standards set for them. You're late to training, you're not playing. You're not pulling your weight in training, you're getting clamped. You will be better. And if we get rid of our experienced heads, we are not going to get. But now speaking about the replacements for Potter, and this is very interesting because I've been thinking about this a lot. I've been always hinting, and I've been actually very open. I want Tuchel back. I've wanted Tuchel all the time. I never wanted him sacked. I never wanted him gone. I believed in the project under Tuchel. I said we're going to give him time. If any manager deserves it, it's Tommy Tuchel. There are rumours from Ben Jacobs that Chelsea could go and beg for Tuchel to come back. They can go back and ask him nicely. Tuchel's not coming back. Tuchel does not believe in the project and the vision of the club. He believes that what Todd Bowley's doing, the philosophy, is not the one he wants to follow. It's not one that he can be behind and manage and steer the ship on. And this is very telling for me, okay? We're in a 76ers mode of, you know what? We're going to trust the process and things are going to be fine. We're going to buy young players, or in their case was we're going to tank just to get the best players, and then afterwards we're going to be successful. Projects only work when you breed a culture that is going to be successful. If you make losing acceptable, you're going to breed losers. Tuchel did not want to breed losers. He wanted to have an entity that was strong and powerful. And the problem was, the minute Tuchel came out after that Arsenal defeat and held people accountable and pointed a few fingers at who was to blame, they had enough of him. They wanted to get rid of him. And that's what happened. So guys, as much as I'm going to be here to burst your bubble, I think it's time to give up on that dream of Tuchel coming back. He's not going to come back. I don't know how many of you would have wanted Tuchel back. Let me know in the comments below. But I was one of them. I really wanted him. Now let's get into the three options that are being strongly linked. We're going to go into their percentages. We're going to talk about them. And I'm going to give you my opinions on whether I want them. All right. Number one is Mauricio Pochettino. Right. We all know who Mauricio Pochettino is. We've seen him in the Premier League. We've seen him at Southampton. We've seen him at Spurs. Then we saw him go to PSG. Prior to that, he was at Espanyol. Guys, Pochettino's record is very interesting. Okay. He had a 38% win rate at Espanyol and Southampton. Then he moved to Spurs, where he was at 54, went to PSG, 65%, and more importantly, he won 3 trophies. Do I think he's the right man for the job? No. I think Pochettino is a very good coach. I think he's a coach that can improve a team, blood young players through. He can build a good culture. He'll give you a nice little sample size of games that you're going to win. I think he is a winning coach. But I don't think he's the coach that can go up there with the Peps, the Klopps, the Tuchels. I don't see it. I'm sorry. He had an opportunity at PSG. He done nothing. He had an opportunity at Spurs. He done something, but it wasn't enough. And I don't want to trust him with this project. For me, I'd rather wait for a better coach to come out than now jump into another project with Mauricio Pochettino where it just won't work. I don't believe it works. He doesn't like to play with wingers. We just signed Madueke and we just signed Mudryk. What happens to them? We've got Raheem Sterling. What happens to him? We do have Joao Felix and he's going to have to play. And we have Kai Havertz. We don't have a number 9. We don't have a Harry Kane at this moment in time. I just don't see this squad fit in with the principles that Mauricio Pochettino will be demanding. So for me, it's a hard pass. He is better than the next option, but the next option. The definition of insanity has been like engraved in us multiple times. Everyone hears it's the generic one of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a change. Well, we've got Graham Potter, so why don't we just take another mid-table manager, put him in there and expect things to be better? Thomas Frank. Chelsea are linked with Brentford manager Thomas Frank. Let's talk about his percentage win rate and then I'll break it down. Thomas Frank, 44% at Brøndby in Denmark, 44% at Brentford. That tells me he is a good manager at smaller clubs. He does a good job on a good budget. And he's a manager that can develop players because that's what we know he's been doing at Brentford. But there's no proof that this man can win on a regular basis, win trophies. He's never won a trophy. Demand excellence from high achieving professionals, and more importantly, and this is the biggest one, lead an entity and work at a project like Chelsea's of that size, where you're bringing in £80 million players, where you're bringing in £90 million players. What can Thomas Frank tell Reece James about a Champions League? What can Thomas Frank tell a Kai Havertz about a Champions League final, a Mason Mount, Joao Felix about playing for his international country? There is no respect there. There's no demand there. And this is where the problems arise. You need to get a man in that knows what he's doing, that is comfortable in his element, that knows how to demand the room. And this is uber important. Because it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. You need to not replace Graham Potter with Graham Potter Danish version. Because that's what you're essentially doing. You're taking a mid-table manager who works at Brentford and you think if you implement him at Chelsea it'll work. No, because at Brentford you can lose. And it's fine. No one will care. Apart from the Brentford fans. You won't be first on Match of the Day. You will not be a major news article. It's what has happened at Brighton. And this is what blows my mind. How Graham Potter got the role with 33% win rate. Win rate is integral. I don't know. The one I want is Ruben Amorim, the one from Sporting Lisbon. So any of you that don't know Sporting Lisbon, they're a team in Portugal. They're the third biggest team in Portugal after Benfica and Porto. You guys can decide which one's which. But what did Ruben Amorim do in his career? Number one, he started at Braga where he had a 72% win rate. Then he went to Braga A, 77% win rate and won a cup. Then he went to Sporting and he's been a manager over 150 games where he has won 4 trophies, 69% win rate. Boom. Now let me break it down why I think he's the right man for the job. Number one, winning coach. Those percentages scream Chelsea manager. He knows the expectancy of winning games on a weekly basis. He knows how it feels, he knows how to demand it, and he knows how important it is. Number two, he managed a top club in a top country in the sense that Portuguese football is consistently respected around Europe. He has managed Sporting and demanded to win a league title, know-how. Number two, he knows how to essentially breed excellence in that league. He knows if I don't win, I will get sacked. And that's what will happen at Sporting. If he does not finish third, he will get sacked. And that's the reality of it. Finally, he brings out the best out of young players. He brings the best out of this current squad by playing 3 at the back, and people aren't going to like it. But the reality is you put Badiashile in the middle, you put Wesley Fofana on the right, Levi Colway on the left, and all of a sudden you got a great back 3 for years to come. You got Koulibaly, you've got Thiago Silva, experience. Boom. Then you have on the right-hand side Reece James, left-hand side Ben Chilwell or Cucurella, and all of a sudden your positions are fixed. Malo Gusto on the right-hand side, we're stacked. Get some midfield options with Enzo Fernandez and someone else right next to him to partner him nicely, and you've got some good attacking football with a front. Guys, we scored 76 goals in a back 3 system, and people had problems. We're scoring 23 with a back 4. Do you see the problem here? It's not the system, it's the manager. So Amorim's teams are known to score a lot of goals, play attractive, fast-paced football. The only negative about Amorim apparently is he's not the friendliest individual. He demands high standards and he's difficult to get along with. That's what I've been told by people that watch Portuguese football. But you know what? Sometimes you need volatile characters for difficult roles. And for me, Amorim's the way to go. I love it. This is the way to go. Finally, I need to have a quick message. There are a lot of other candidates that are being offered around. We're hearing Hansi Flick from Germany. Whilst I think he's a good manager, I don't see it being a realistic option. A lot of people are talking about Enrique. Whilst I think he's a phenomenal manager, I don't see the fit being right. I think the system, Chelsea fans are just not going to accept that project. That project will take time. That project will be like, oh, you know what? It's too much passing. It'll be sorry, Paul 2.0. And I promise you, within 9 months, these lot are going to want him out. We could be winning games and they're still going to want him out because they just don't understand it. Chelsea fans understand one thing, and that's put the ball in the box. Let's see what we can do. Fast buckle football. Anything resulting with patience and reverting with control, they struggle to understand it, especially match-going fans. They have an issue with it and it's complex. And finally, there's a video that went out viral about George Benson and Eunice Talks Football. They sit down, 2 YouTubers, and they're talking about it. And they're both saying they want Jose Mourinho. And this blew my mind. Because I don't watch George Benson, I'll be honest. I don't watch his content. I've seen 1 or 2 videos, not my cup of tea. Other people might love it because his channel was 8 times the size of mine. Good on him. Eunice, I love his football takes. I love his channel. Like, there are regular times, especially when Chelsea lose, and I need to listen to someone logical about football, I go to Eunice. So for me, it's surprising that he wants Jose Mourinho back because I don't understand the logic behind wanting Jose back. My argument here is Jose is past his prime in the sense that he does not play football that wins games anymore. The game's moved on. It's more about control now instead of hitting teams on a counter-attack and soaking up pressure and then trying to express yourself in the final third and win based on 1 or 2 chances. And our squad is not designed for that. So bringing Jose in, all of a sudden you're going to have to change the whole philosophy of the club. Then Jose doesn't want to work with young kids. Jose will want seasoned, experienced players. Todd Bowley and Egbali don't want to do business in that way. And finally, this is the biggest one. Have we not been watching Roma this year? Any of you, have you not put on BT Sport or wherever you are, Al Jazeera Sport if you're, or NBC or wherever they show Italian football, right? Have you not watched Roma this year? They're the most boring team to watch. Like, it is absolutely mind-bogglingly boring. Like, it is horrible. It is give the ball to Dybala and pray he does something for Tammy to tap it in. And they attack with 2 and they defend with the remaining players. Like, it is absolutely hideous football. I love Jose Mourinho. I love him for what he's done at the club. But I don't want him in charge of my club anymore. I'm sorry. A lot of people are going to say, Alex, you're being harsh. I'm not. I think this is people being emotionally invested into the past, and we're in an area now where we're in the unknown, we're uncomfortable. So what do? You go back to your ex. You run back to your ex. You tell her, babes, I'm sorry, take me back. And guess what? In 6 months' time, you're going to say, I know I broke up with her in the past. I can't have you back. We need to break up. And then by that time, he's done too much damage. All of a sudden, you have to clean up the mess that he's done. Whilst I understand why Eunice wants Jose Mourinho, I personally think it is the wrong decision. You need to avoid this. You need to avoid it at all costs. That's my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let you know if you think you agree with me, whether you want Jose. But this was a long video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. There was a lot to say. Peace out, I'm out.